Welcome to the best month of the year, October. And welcome to episode 117 of the Access of Combat podcast. I'm one half of your co-host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next, joined by my co-host.
It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down UFC Rio, Oliveira versus Gamrot. And on the boxing end, we got a couple of main events brought to you in part by Matchroom Boxing. But before we get into any of that, my brother, please tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
First fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Saimon Oliveira going one-on-one with Luan Lacerda. Oliveira is 18-6 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Lacerda is 12-3 overall, also fighting out of Brazil, also hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. So we're kicking it off with some Brazilian on Brazilian action, some Brazilian on Brazilian violence. We got two jiu-jitsu specialists here. Both kind of want to do the same thing. When it comes to the striking, both are a bit mid. Both like to throw a lot of kicks. Oliveira's got a little more experience, but Oliveira, in my opinion, is the lesser of the two here. I'm going to be picking Lacerda for the win here. When it comes to the striking, I'm going to barely edge Lacerda. I just think his kicks are a little cleaner. And, you know, I feel like his decision making is, I can trust it a little more. And when it comes to the grappling, I think Lacerda is going to have the slight edge here. Oliveira is just not the better fighter, in my opinion. I think this is going to be a fight where I can see it ending in sub or decision. Don't know how I would want to play this one in particular, but I'm going to be taking Lacerda here for the win.
Yeah, I'm on your side here. I don't think Saimon Oliveira is very good, to be frank with you. I don't think he's UFC caliber. If you look at the strength of schedule here, Lacerda has lost to Damon Blackshear and Cody Stamen. That's not like the worst thing in the world. Saimon Oliveira recently lost to David Martinez, but he's also lost to Daniel Marcos, who I think is a little fraudish as well. And then on top of that, Tony Gravely, old ass Tony Gravely, who is no longer in the UFC. So for me, this is an easy pick. I think it's Lacerda all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Give me Lacerda for the win here. I think the anytime sub is something to look at. I think I'll say it ends by sub for podcast sake, but we'll see how we play closer to fight time.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Valter Walker, the clean monster, going one-on-one with the motor, Mohammed Usman. Walker, 14-1 overall, fighting out of Brazil but repping Russia, 27 years old. Usman, 11-4 overall, fighting out of Arlington, Texas but repping Nigeria, 36 years old. We got a heavyweight fight here, big old beefy men bumping meat, the classic, the special. This is Valter, I think, all day and every day. Valter's been on kind of a tear here, the ankle collector, whatever they want to call him here. He's got 3 heel hook wins in a row. Mohammed Usman on the other side, the brother of Kamaru Usman, you know. My brother will tell you a little more about him. That's his favorite fighter, I think.
It's definitely not. All right.
I wish I can trust Usman here. Both these guys are decently proficient in wrestling, but I'm going to be leaning Walker because he's just a bigger guy and, you know, his wrestling background comes from Russia. Usman, I just think he's going to be a little too small in here. I think he's a little too stiff. I don't really trust the IQ on either gentleman, if I'm being completely honest, but I just don't think Usman, I don't think if I could trust his finishing ability, I'd probably lean a little more towards him, but I think Walker gets it done. Sub or decision. That's kind of where I'm leaning.
Yeah, this is the fight that you go to the bathroom, you know, walk your dog, order the Chinese food for the night.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be someone laying on top of someone for possibly 15 minutes or Walter Walker getting a sub. With that said, I'm with my brother here. I think it's going to be Walter by decision or sub. I don't see how anywhere else this fight goes, to be frank. Usman is a mediocre fighter at this weight class. Overrated a bit, just like his brother is. And I think that Walker is going to get to his positions here and win minutes as well as go for submissions in those positions. Give me Walter Walker here by submission or decision.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have the pastor, Jafel Filho, going one-on-one with Clayton Carpenter. Jafel is 16-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. Carpenter is 8-1 overall, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, 29 years old. Mixed feelings on this fight. This fight is actually very good. High level fight, in my opinion. Fan of both guys. I've been coming around onto the Carpenter side. Didn't really like him initially, but I think his boxing is actually pretty decent. very solid wrestling. Filho on the other side, very good jiu-jitsu, exciting fighter. When it comes to the stand-up, I'm kind of 50-50 on kind of where I want to lean here, because I think Carpenter's striking, at least in the boxing department, is going to be a little cleaner, but Jafel, I think, has a little more tools. I'm going to be, hedging my bets here. I think Carpenter should be able to control Filho for the most part. I'm going to be leaning Carpenter here in a fight that I think is going to be closer than a lot of people anticipate. I'm picking Carpenter, not feeling good about it, because I do think Filho is the better fighter, or at least a more complete fighter. But, styles make matchups, and, I think I can just see Carpenter winning this more times than not. Give me Carpenter by decision.
Yeah, this is a super interesting fight. One of the better fights in the card. One of the harder fights to cap, in my opinion, as well. I think fight ends in sub, depending on the numbers. Also a very sneaky number. Filho has been sub twice. Carpenter has not been sub, but he hasn't fought a submission specialist of this level. Filho also underrated power in his hands. Fight doesn't go is very intriguing here. He also gasses. So once again, Clayton Carpenter's side, fight doesn't go is also intriguing on this side. Depends on the number, depends on the value, but I'm with my brother here. I'm going to lean Clayton Carpenter. I think his wrestling should be able to mitigate a lot of the jiu-jitsu. He is the cleaner puncher, even though I don't think he's the harder puncher necessarily. Give me Clayton Carpenter here to get this done via sub or decision. But we'll see how we play it closer to fight time. This is a fight that definitely intrigues me from a viewership standpoint as well as a betting standpoint. Just want to see what the value is close to the fight time when the lines open up. But it's Carpenter, and I expect him to turn into John Carpenter this Halloween for this October. Give me Clayton Carpenter via decision or sub.
Next fight on the card at women's bantamweight, we have Irina Alekseeva, aka Russian Ronda, going one-on-one with the debuting Beatriz Mesquita. Alekseeva is 5-3 overall. Fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 35 years old. Mesquita is perfect, 5-0. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Low-level women's fight, and I'll just put it on the table. I'll be leaning Mesquita here, but not with a high degree of confidence. She's got a very extensive BJJ background, 10-time champion, and, whatever they're doing down there in Brazil with the jiu-jitsu. She's got a clear edge here, but what scares me about this fight is that her striking offense and defense, dog shit. Straight terrible.
Horrible.
Alekseeva is going to have the edge there by far. And fight doesn't go is probably a sneaky bet here. Alekseeva can light her up on the feet, 100%. But for some reason, Alekseeva is going to judo toss her, give up her back, and then get choked out. I can see that happening. Mesquita is going to be the pick here. I'm going to say via sub. I like fight doesn't go because I 100% see a world where she just gets lit up on the feet by Alekseeva. But Mesquita is where I'm going to be, unfortunately, laying my head.
Pause. but I'm with you here. I'm totally on your side here. Alekseeva.
Horrible.
I just feel like I don't know what she wants to do in there. Like, when there's fights she should probably keep standing that she gets to the floor with, and fights that she should go to the floor where she keeps standing. This is a fight where she should stay off the floor, but to my brother's point, I feel like she's gonna head and arm throw her to, judo chuck her. She's going to wind up giving up her back to this 10-time world champion and getting subbed here. I think fight doesn't go is the way to play this fight. Mesquita's the side because I trust her wrestling entries a little better. She's not like a stud wrestler, but you can tell she understands basic maneuverability to get to the hips and to get to single legs and knows how to work against the fence good. Alekseeva, not the best gas tank, and I'm going to trust the girl that I think is going to be on top of the other girl in this fight. Sounds like a delightful time, but
it won't be that delightful from a viewing. If you're a fan of MMA, that's all.
100%. Yeah. But I think this is Mesquita's fight to lose. Give me Mesquita to win this fight via decision or sub, preferably the sub.
Next fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have Julia Polastri, aka Psycho, going one-on-one with Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Polastri is 13-5 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 27 years old. Karolina is 16-9 overall, hailing from Poland, repping Poland, 39 years old. Another not so interesting women's fight, but a little more interesting than the previous one. I think this is Polastri. Polastri should be able to get this one done. Both girls are tough, so I see this going to decision either way. It just boils down to Polastri, her power carries late. She's got decent striking. I think she's got slick grappling. Karolina, another tough woman, a little on the older side, unfortunately, and but you know, tough as nails, and I think she can make this one a dogfight. I do trust Karolina's guts a little more in this one, and the propensity to, like, you know, really push a fight. So it kind of scares me a little bit, but I think Polastri at home in Rio, she should be able to get this one done. I'm going to say by decision in a fight that, you know, I'm not too interested in, but it can't get spicy.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think Polastri is just going to overwhelm her with the physicality. She's built like a tank. You know, my brother was talking to me about this in the podcast, how jacked she is, and I 100% agree. I think Karolina's a little too over the hill here. I think she's going to have a lot of trouble keeping her off. Even if she's able to establish the jab, I think it's going to be hard for Karolina to keep distance and maintain range. I also think even with Karolina moving to ATT, she's going to go to her wrestling a lot more frequently, but she is not going to find the back with a lot of success, in my opinion, in this fight, just because of the physicality. Give me Polastri to win this here. I don't agree with any woman being a minus 300. But I'm trying to find a reason to find love for Karolina here because we love her on this podcast, but I'm not there. I'm going to lean Polastri. Not sure how, but I'll lean Polastri for the straight here for podcast sake.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Vitor Petrino going one-on-one with Thomas Petersen. Petrino is 12-2 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 28 years old. Petersen is 10-3 overall. Fighting out of Webster, Minnesota, 30 years old. All right, we got to the particular fight on this card that, in my opinion, screams fraud alert. And fraud alert for Petrino here. Petrino's got the athletic gifts, right? He's got the physicality. He's athletically gifted. He's explosive. I think he has the jiu-jitsu. I think he has the knockout power. He has everything it takes to beat Petersen here. But the IQ drives me crazy. On top of the fact that, in my opinion, Petersen, a little sneaky, man. He's a very decent grappler. I don't think he gets talked about enough. I can see him pushing a pace here, and Petrino making this a little messy. I'm going to pick Petrino here. Very cautiously, not confident at all. I think he has to beat Petersen here, because if he doesn't beat Petersen here, Petersen's here for the fraud check. I'm just going to keep it a buck. The lean is Petrino, not with a high degree of confidence. Petersen is a little better than most people are going to give him credit for. I think he makes this fight close. That's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think Petrino should get it done, but Petersen at plus 220, I don't hate that look at all. And I think it's just going to be a sloppy heavyweight fight. Petrino, not like a lot of high volume, not the best wrestling unless he's able to power you down from a technical standpoint. Really good jiu-jitsu, not even really good jiu-jitsu, okay jiu-jitsu when he has top position. Doesn't finish his food a lot of times, which is a little annoying, and takes his time finishing his food. He's a hard guy to cap, to be honest with you. He just is. And we fraud checked them 2 times on this podcast and won money. Just listen to us on Petrino. We're the Petrino whisperers, low key.
I think the key to this fight basically boils down to, I think Petersen's going to be able to get Petrino down. It's whether or not he's going to be able to hold him down. That's why I'm kind of just leaning Petrino. I got to lean the naturally athletic guy to just get up, do his get up jitsu, and, you know, I don't know. This fight drives me a little up the wall. I'm being completely honest.
And you could say Petersen is a little bit of a at the UFC level, but he's only lost to Waldo Cortez, who, by the way, is like borderline a top 5 heavyweight. So it's aged well. And he lost to Shamil Gassiev. I mean, guys, like, you want the real? I think Shamil Gassiev would do dirty things to Petrino. I'm just going to put that out there. That's a guy who pushes pace, lands damage, has a good chin, and will push the wrestling. So for me, like, okay, that's who he lost to. Okay, I'll take that the chin. I think he's just at the better strength of schedule. Petrino has not really been tested at the heavyweight level yet. Plus 220. I think this line should be a lot closer. That's all I'm at with this. Not sure if I'm there to play it, but I think this is a value play. I'll lean Petersen's a possible dog play, but Petrino's going to be the obvious lean for podcast sakes.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have Lucas Rocha going one-on-one with Stewart Nicoll. Rocha is 17-2 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 25 years old. Nicoll is 8-1 overall. Fighting out of Australia, repping Australia, 30 years old. This is another fight I'm kind of split on a bit. Rocha, in my opinion, he's going to be the quicker of the 2 gentlemen in there. He is younger, but he's going to be more explosive. I like his striking. It's very dynamic. He's a fun fighter to watch on the feet. Nicoll, on the other hand, I think has the wrestling edge here. I think he's going to be able to take Rocha down. I like Rocha a lot, but every fight I watch with this guy, for some reason, he's always on his back. He's always being taken down. Nicoll should be the pick here for me. I'm going to get a little spicy. I'm going to take Lucas here for the win. I think on the feet, he lights Nicoll up. And when it comes to the grappling, I think Nicoll is going to be able to take him down. I just don't know how successful he's going to be at holding Rocha down. So usually I always lean wrestler over grappler here, you know, wrestling over BJJ. I'm going to push back on this a little bit. I'm probably going to be wrong on it, but give me Rocha here for the win.
And my brother, I don't think your pick is spicy at all. Vegas has this fight lined at a pick 'em, and there's a reason for that. Rocha, I think, is the more explosive guy. I think he gets his hips back very well. I'm with my brother here. He's always on his back, but I don't think Nicoll's the one, to be honest with you. I think Rocha's going to lamp him. Loki, I think Rocha's going to land damage when he wants. I think Nicoll's going to have a hard time with his basic wrestling entries, which are not very good, to be frank. And I don't think they're going to be very good at this level with more explosive and athletic guys who are more experienced with against better competition. Give me Rocha here to find his chin and probably stop him, to be frank. I think he might have his way on the feet entirely, because I have a hard time believing Rocha gets tired that Nicoll's going to be able to get him down cleanly. The back end of this fight is I think, the more interesting part. But I think Rocha's going to get his footing early and put an ass whooping on this guy, to be frank. Give me Rocha here by decision or knockout preferably, but that's the lean for the podcast.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Vicente Luque going one-on-one with Joel Alvarez. Luque, 23-11-1 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 33 years old. Alvarez is 22-3 overall, fighting out of Spain, repping Spain, 32 years old. I don't know why they made Luque accept this fight. Maybe Luque did accept this fight on his own volition. The original opponent was supposed to be Santiago Ponzinibbio. That was actually a better fight, a fight that I was kind of looking forward to, because I think it would have been a little more even. I don't like Luque fighting Alvarez here. This is a bad matchmaking. I think Alvarez is going to win. I think Alvarez is going to knock him out early, first, second round, ITD. It's Alvarez by whatever he wants. I know Alvarez is, moving up in weight. He's been, a 155er for most of his UFC career. Moving up to 170, I still don't think that makes a difference. The guy's extremely talented, extremely good.
Big for the weight class too, by the way. Big for 55, and he's not going to be small at 70.
I think Alvarez is going to do whatever he wants to Luque here, unfortunately. It's going to be big sad to see Luque get washed up in Rio, but I think that's what's going to happen. Give me Alvarez, ITD, KO, first, second round.
Yeah, I think the fight that made better sense was the Ponzinibbio fight, particularly at this stage in his career, but feeding him to Joel Alvarez is just fucking nasty work, ladies and gentlemen. I think Joel Alvarez, yes, he gets hit. I get it. This is probably going to be the best striker he's fought, that, from a technical standpoint. And I think it is interesting with, the Bravo chokes and all the front headlock series that Vicente does. But I think Joel is just the fresher, younger fighter. He can fucking grapple too. I think this is a sneaky sub. There's a sneaky sub value here, to be frank, depending on the line. But I think, in all, Alvarez is going to find the finish here. I feel bad. I don't know why. Who advised Vicente to take this fight? It really annoys me, to be frank with you. This fight should not be happening.
I think he just really wanted to be on this card, so he was just willing to take anybody.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I think.
What is going on, dude? I just think this is a horrible matchup. Ponzinibbio and him at this point, banger. I love that fight for both of them, but this fight it's one-sided in my opinion. I think Joel's going to have his way. The body kicks. Vicente seems more tentative since the brain bleed to take damage. Oh, man, I hate this fight for Vicente. He's an amazing fighter. This is bad matchmaking for him. Give me Joel Alvarez, ITD here, unfortunately. I think he finds the finish in this fight.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have Ricardo Ramos going one-on-one with Con Offley. Ramos, 17-7 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. Offley, 11-4-1 overall, fighting out of Melbourne, Australia, but repping Turkey, 32 years old. This is another fight where I think it's, on paper at least, it's kind of obvious. I think Ramos should win this fight, but if you dig a little deeper, for me personally, Ramos has always been kind of a guy that's kind of hard to, trust. The IQ, the will to fight sometimes. I think he's a little easy to break. Is Con Offley the guy to do that? Maybe if he throws on the singlet, goes straight D1, stays a little safe, so he doesn't get submitted, because, Ricardo Ramos he's a little fraudulent in my opinion, but his subs are legit, right? But Con, in my opinion, really hasn't shown it at a UFC level either. This is not the first Brazilian he's lost to. I think it's not going to be the last Brazilian he loses to. I'm going to take Ramos tentatively here to win. This fight kind of just stinks. So from a betting perspective, might just stay completely off of it. Ramos is the side here for me, though.
Yeah, I'm there too. And we're fans of Khan Offley on this podcast. I like him. I think this is a tough fight for him because he kind of leans into Ricardo's strength a bit. He wants to kind of get the wrestling going, even though he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. I also think at 5'7" in 2025, he's undersized for the division a bit. He should probably consider moving the bantamweight. I think he'd have a lot better success there. And there's going to be a much more of a tougher weight cut, but I think he has the size to make the weight class. He's fighting a guy that's got size on him, length, I think jiu-jitsu skill, UFC experience. He's at home, so if this fight's close, they're probably gonna lean him. I gotta lean Ricardo Ramos here, even though I think he has fraudish tendencies here. Khan Offley, I think you should consider moving down a weight class. I hope you do, because I think you're a very good fighter. I just think like you're undersized against a lot of these guys, including like the Myron Santoses of the world, who I thought you were gonna beat, but you've seen the physicality play a big factor in that fight. I think it's gonna play a factor in this fight too. Give me Ricardo Ramos for the decision or sub here. Not sure I'm going to play it. We'll see how we play it close to the fight time. Follow us on all social media platforms as usual.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have Lucas Almeida going one-on-one with Michael Aswell. Almeida is 15-4 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Aswell is 10-3 overall. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, 25 years old. So we got a striker's delight here. Ain't going to be no grappling in this one. It's two guys that just like to swing and bang. It's going to be a stand-up affair for the most part. Aswell, tough as nails, solid fundamentals, the 1-2 jab merchant. We know he uses his grappling defensively. He does not want to hit the ground. He wants to fight standing. On the other side, we have Lucas Almeida here. Despite being Brazilian, is a guy who loves to strike, loves to throw, doesn't really go to his jiu-jitsu as much, uses it defensively as well. I'm going to slightly lean Almeida here. I think he's just going to be the harder of the two, I guess, punchers, right? I think he might have a slight speed advantage as well, but I do not trust his chin as much. I think if I had to weigh it out, I think Aswell is probably a little more durable. Interesting fight. Give me Almeida here for the win. The confidence is so-so.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm with you on exactly how you feel about this fight for a lot of reasons. Almeida, don't trust his chin, but I'm going to lean Almeida here. And I'm going to lean Almeida because I'm not sure Aswell is the biggest puncher in the world. Like, that's how you usually beat Almeida. It's either a guy that can crack and really, like, put damage on him, or a guy that can put him on his back. Aswell doesn't do either. So you're banking on Aswell to outdog this guy for 15 minutes. And I think Almeida is the more technical striker. I think he has a faster hand speed. He's going to be the bigger guy, and I think he hits harder.
And I think he uses his kicks more out of the two guys, too.
Absolutely. Aswell tries to fight a lot like Nick and Nate Diaz, almost a Sean Strickland style, where he has like that Philly shell, walks forward, doesn't throw a lot of punches. Like, if he doesn't get his game going and get downhill on you, he doesn't know what to do. It's like he doesn't have a second gear. Tough as hell. Don't get me wrong. Can he stand in there with Almeida for 15 minutes and take a ton of damage? Sure. But for me, I just think Almeida at dog money here, when I think he has all the upside on every other stat outside of the wrestling, is an intriguing factor here. I'd say Aswell's the better wrestler, but once again, ladies and gentlemen, does not go to it. Just doesn't go to it. And I think they have this fight high up on the card for that reason. I think they expect this fight to be on the feet and be a banger. So for me, I'm going to go with the more technical, bigger, faster, stronger striker here, which sounds kind of crazy, but ironically, he's a dog. Yes, I get the chin situation, and that might be why he is a dog, but I just don't think Aswell cracks. I don't think there's anything special about his game, and he's not a special athlete either. So give me Lucas Almeida here with my brother as a possible dog play come fight night.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Johanna Diniz going one-on-one with Mario Pinto. Diniz is 9-1 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Pinto is perfect. 10-0. Fighting out of London, England, but repping Portugal, 27 years old. I go back and forth on this one because on one hand, Diniz has got the experience, tons of experience. He's going to be probably the bigger guy in there in terms of weight. But on the other hand, Mario Pinto, he's a little more green. But the two things that kind of got me leaning Pinto's way are the cardio. I trust Pinto's cardio way more than I trust Diniz's cardio, and the fact that this guy's got a deft touch just walking backwards as well. It's gonna be a banger of a fight. From a betting perspective, I think it's you if you like the Diniz side, you take him early. If you like the Pinto side, I think you wait. It's probably a little bit more of a live entry spot if you like the Pinto side. I'm gonna lean Pinto for the upset here. I think Denise is probably going to be the favorite.
No, you know what's crazy? Nope. I'm going to correct you right there. Denise is actually the dog in this fight.
Hey, there you go. I never look at odds before the fights. Interesting. So Pinto's the favorite. I still like Pinto here. I just trust the cardio. I trust the cardio. I trust the movement. Denise, he's going to be big in there, but he's going to be slow in there. Give me Pinto for the win here.
What's crazy is we're going to be on opposite sides for this fight, and I'll give you a lot of reasons why. This is a dog or pass fight, particularly for a couple of reasons. I'm going to lay it flat out to you. I understand the Pinto upside with the power. I saw what he did to Austin Lane too. It was vicious shit. I get it. But this is a guy that he's fighting in Denise that is way more experienced in the striking than him. Not going to have to worry about the takedown from Pinto in this fight. Has fought guys like Rico Verhoeven and gone the distance for Rico Verhoeven. I understand Rico's not a big puncher, but he is a volume puncher at a high level in kickboxing and is a very technical striker. Went to decision with that guy. And here's the other thing. Mario Pinto, super low volume. Super low volume. So you're telling me that I'm going to get plus money on the guy who has better technical application. By the way, also a very good chin. Not going to have to work too hard because Pinto's not going to make him work too hard. I'm on Denise here, man. I think this is a pure dog or pass spot. Give me the more technical guy who's going to throw more volume and is durable to get rid of the guy who's not going to push him in his low volume and is less experienced. That's my assessment of this fight. I can't believe Denise is at dog money. I'll be honest with you. I thought he was going to be the favorite in this fight too. So don't know if I'm going to get around to betting it because both these guys are kind of donks in their own weird ways. Denise a little more of a donk, to be frank, but I just think plus money's a little crazy. Give me Denise here. I'll say by decision because he couldn't finish a bowl of cereal if you put it in front of him, even though he's 265 pounds.
Next fight on the card, and it's currently constituted the co-main event of the evening. At men's bantamweight, we have Davison Figueiredo going one-on-one with Montel Jackson. Figueiredo is 24-5-1 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 37 years old. Jackson, 15-2 overall, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 33 years old. I just want to start off by saying I am a big fan of Figueiredo. I did believe in him when he moved up in weight. I don't think he gets past Montel Jackson here. I'm just going to keep it a buck. That might be a hot take. That might be a spicy take. You know, hey, Ray, you're crazy. Figueiredo's got way more experience. He's a championship caliber fighter. Listen, Montel Jackson's a bad motherfucker. And he hasn't, it might be a kind of a huge leap in competition for him, but I think it's a leap that he's kind of been waiting for. People don't want to fight the man. Size does matter in this particular matchup.
Scott's on a voice.
He's going to be the bigger guy. He's going to be the longer guy. He's got power. I think he's going to be able to, you know, at least keep it competent in the jiu-jitsu. Obviously, I'm going to lean Figueiredo in the jiu-jitsu, but Montel Jackson's a bad motherfucker. I think he's going to be able to get this one done. I think the only clear path for Figgy here is to really get his jiu-jitsu going and just get on Montel's back however he can. But Jackson's a smart fighter. I think Jackson gets this one done. It's going to be unfortunate, but it's going to be one of those like party over grandpa moments. Give me Jackson for the win.
Yeah, if you told me give me a matchup for Figgy that was worse than the Sandhagen match, this is it. Like, I think stylistically it's just a terrible matchup for him. This is another lanky fighter who's big for the weight class with big punching power, who's an underrated wrestler that's going to give Figgy a ton of trouble. This is a tough fight for Figgy, man. I love Figgy too, man. I always get a kick out of his war paint and all that shit. I know he's in Brazil. He's going to have to summon the powers of Shogun Rua and fucking Anderson Silva to win this fight. Because I'm telling you right now, it's going to be tough sledding. I think Montel's going to be able to do whatever he wants in there. Montel's only issue is that he's a hard person to cap because I don't know if he should be knocking dudes out or going to decision with them. His last fight, I thought he's going to stop the dude. This fight, I think he should stop Figgy, just like the last one, but I'm not sure how to cap it. I got to see the value. I got to see what the lines open up as. Maybe I think Montel's a parlay piece is assured, to be frank. I have a lot of confidence, unfortunately, that this is not going to go Figgy's way. Give me Montel Jackson by knockout decision here. That's how we'll look at this fight. He's not subbing Figgy. Hell no. But once again, UFC, the same way they did Vicente Luque is the same way they're doing Figgy, in my opinion. I think these are tough matchups for these guys. Good luck, GG. Montel Jackson for the win here. That's where I'm at.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight and is currently constituted the main event of the evening. We have Charles do Bronx Oliveira going one-on-one with gamer Mateusz Gamrot. Oliveira is 35-11 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 35 years old. Gamrot is 25-3 overall. Fighting out of Poland, repping Poland, 34 years old. This is a Very good main event. Not the original main event. Oliveira was supposed to fight Fiziev originally.
That's a great fight.
He ended up pulling out. Gamrot, just like his nickname, Gamer. Always game for a fight. Always game for opportunity. Steps up, short notice. This is a tougher fight for Oliveira, in my opinion. This might be spicy, but I'm probably going to be leaning Gamrot here for the win. First and foremost, it's always wrestling over jiu-jitsu. Gamrot is going to make this look, or possibly make this look, very one-sided probably initially. I think Oliveira, even though he has been fighting grapplers as of late, I think not his last fight, but his fight before that was Chandler, and his fight before that was Sarukian, right? Oliveira is not, he's familiar with the wrestling that is probably going to come his way here, but Gamrot pushes a pace. Gamrot's striking a little underwhelming, but I think it's a little underrated as well, because I think what he lacks in power, he makes up for in accuracy. I think his jab is a little underrated. His accuracy in general is just a little underrated. Oliveira also scares me a little bit chin-wise, because, he got put to sleep by Topuria his last fight. And Gamrot, I can see, notorious decision guy. I can see a ground and pound finish here for Gamrot. I don't see Gamrot subbing Oliveira, but I can see a ground and pound finish late, mid to late rounds. If you do like the Oliveira side, and I have been contemplating this as well, it's probably sub. Maybe even decision, who knows? Because Gamrot, the over-under on him hitting the mat is probably like 2.5. His ass will be touching mat, whether he wants to willingly or not. The more I think about it, the more I'm just going to be leaning Gamrot here. Give me Gamrot. Probably by decision is the safe way to play him, but I wouldn't be too surprised. And, I'm calling my shot now. He could possibly finish Oliveira.
Yeah, I tell you what, if Oliveira didn't get flatlined by Topuria, I think this is Charles Oliveira all day. I think the questions are on Charles's chin at this point. But if you're asking me if this is a fight that Charles could win, 100%. And he is the dog in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. I think this fight is arguably a dog or pass fight for a lot of reasons. I think Charles is going to present a lot of problems for Gamrot. I'm a little bit, by the way, take what I say with a grain of salt, because my brother knows I'm a little biased against how good Gamrot actually is. To be frank, I don't think some people say he's like world champion caliber. I'm not there. I think he's a guy that's going to spam takedowns, make Charles work in this situation. But this is also a guy in Charles who went against Arman Tsarukyan, who, in my opinion, is the best freestyle wrestler in the division, and went to a split decision with him. You could make a strong argument Charles won that fight. And people were saying, oh, well, the end of the fight when he had the front headlock choke on Arman, that it wasn't really locked in. That's bullshit. When you hit your chest on the floor, like Arman did, you're trying to relieve pressure from the choke. That's the idea of it. And so Charles can't create the angle to get his bicep under your neck as cleanly. With that said, I think this is going to be a very interesting fight for Gamrot for the simple fact that I don't know where he's going to be safe in this fight for 25 minutes. And you have to convince me, which he has not convinced me yet, that he has legitimate punching power. I faded him against Dan Hooker, and everyone thought I was crazy for doing it. And I kept telling people he is not going to be able to hurt Dan. He did land damage on Dan in the fight, but to my point, Dan wasn't so hurt that he wasn't going to be able to not wrestle into him and land his own damage more distinctly. I watched that fight back a couple of times and I thought, okay, what are people saying online that Gamrot probably won this fight? I watched it again about 2 or 3 times and I don't see what you guys are saying. It sounds like it's just a whole bunch of salty fucking Gamrot bettors that got fucking rinsed that night. That's what I think. And you know what? Like, I'm going to stand on business. Dan won that fight. I don't even think it should have been warranted as a split decision, to be frank with you. I think that was a fucking gift to Gamrot. This fight ain't any easier. I think if Charles is even 80% of himself and he can wear damage the way he has in previous fights, this is a fight that I think he can win. The only thing that scares me is he got flatlined 3 months ago. Oh my goodness. This is a fucking quick turnaround. And that was a bad knockout. That was a bad knockout, dude. Like, he didn't know where he was at kind of shit. I've never seen him get flatlined like that. Usually he's like, yeah, pull guard. When he gets dropped like that, he was like, look at the stars. He had some blockers like me, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
He just saw stars, bro. It was all over. It was all over. He was done for the night. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason this fight, to my point again, is interesting is because he got stopped 3 months ago. But fuck it. It's dog or pass. I think Charles Oliveira is going to be dangerous at every position in this fight. He's going to be active with the jiu-jitsu. I think he's going to be by far the better striker. Give me Charles Oliveira for the dog shot here, but not with a high degree of confidence because he got flatlined 3 months ago. Don't be surprised if I switch to Gamrot come fight night. Follow us on all social media platforms as usual for the official and final bets and picks.
And that does it for UFC Rio. That's our MMA combat coverage. Moving right along to the sweet science, we have a couple of main events brought to you in part by Matchroom Boxing. We're going to kick it off with one of two, starting with Dave Allen going one-on-one with Arslanbek Makhmudov. Allen, aka the White Rhino, is 24-7-2 overall. Fighting out of England, repping England, 33 years old. Makhmudov, aka the Lion, 20-2 overall. Fighting out of Canada but repping Russia, 36 years old.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the line coming into this fight. I'll be honest with you guys, flat out, Makhmudov is the play here. This is a guy in David Allen who has been stopped multiple times. I understand he has more experience than Makhmudov, but Makhmudov has literally only lost to Agate and Guido. Both are elite boxers. Both know how to use their feet and move their feet and get in and out of space. There's a guy in David Allen, very minimal hand speed, very minimal foot speed. The only thing he has on him is experience, but if you're giving me Makhmudov at minus 130, I feel like this is an easy play for me. He's going to be the bigger truck that's going to be walking forward. David Allen has quit on the stool before. Makhmudov has never. He was willing to die in there against Guido. I think he's got more heart. I think he's got balls. I think that they're developing him more properly now. I think that's why this line is a little weird. I still think it's a little weird because if you're comparing David Allen to the guys he's lost to, it's night and day. It's just night and day. And this is a guy in Makhmudov who I think has underrated hand speed and underrated lateral up the middle shots that he catches a lot of his opponents with. David Allen doesn't have the best head movement. David Allen is not fast. He's going to be smaller. He's older. Outside of experience, I don't know where you're going to give David Allen the advantage in this fight. So give me Makhmudov here on the money line and via knockout. I think he finds a stoppage here. I think this is a surprising line. I almost want to do a little bit more homework just to make sure that I'm not bugging the fuck out. But from what I've seen, I'm like, this line makes no sense to me. Makhmudov should be at minimum minus 300. Give me Makhmudov here to find the stoppage. Makhmudov on the money line. That's where I'm at with this fight.
Moving right along from England to Philly, we got a couple of other fights from Matchroom, and we're going to be kicking it off with Alexis Barrera going one-on-one with Guido Beniello. Alexis is perfect. 12-0. Fighting out of Canada, repping Canada, 30 years old. Vaniello, 13-3-1 overall. Fighting out of Italy, repping Italy, 31 years old.
Yeah, this is the most interesting fight of the weekend. And the line, I think the fight is lined appropriately. This is a guy in Alexis who is big for the weight class, knows how to use his feet, knows how to fight behind the jab, but he's going against a guy in Guido Vaniello who's going to be bigger than him, longer than him, outweigh him, out-experience him, and he's sitting at dog money here. The only thing that gives me a little bit of skepticism is because Guido is a little bit susceptible to when a guy can outbox him or put volume on him. That's why I think this fight is so interesting, because Alexis, even though he does walk forward and put a lot of damage on his guys, he hasn't fought not even close to the same level of competition as Guido. He's going to be a little slower than Guido on the feet, in my opinion, in this fight. This is also a fight where Alexis has recently been signed to Matchroom. He's not like a guy that's long-standing that they've been developing. I think this is dog or pass, man. And just like we faded Makhmudov, the guy we just talked about previously, against Guido, I think I'm going to fade Alexis against this guy as well. I think this is a pure dog or pass spot. I think this is a split decision look, to be frank. Not sure if I'm going to get on board with it because I think this fight has the capability of being close from a betting perspective. But I think since it's going to be close, I think it's dog or pass all day, every day, twice on Sundays. Give me the gladiator from Italy to get this done because of his boxing acumen, his footwork, his ability to work behind the jab, his foot speed, his hand speed, level of competition. This is a big step up for Alexis from fighting truck drivers to fighting a slick, big boxer. So give me Guido Vaniello here to win. I'll say via decision, but just on the money line alone at value, it's value. So give me Guido Vaniello straight here. That's how I'm looking at this fight.
And last but not least, the main event in Philly here. The last of the two main events we're going to be talking about, and the last boxing match we're going to be talking about here, is featuring Jared Boots Ennis going one-on-one with Uisma. I think that's how you say his name, Uisma?
Yeah.
Lima. Ennis, perfect. 34-0. Fighting out of Philly, repping Philly, 28 years old. Lima, 14-1 overall. Fighting out of Portugal, 32 years old.
Yeah, this fight is not bettable. Jaron Ennis sitting at a minus 2,400. It's practically untouchable. But what I will say is this is probably going to be the banger of the weekend, low key. Ennis walks forward. Lima walks forward. Lima has 14 wins, 10 of them via knockout. His only loss is via decision where he got outboxed from the outside by a more technical boxer. I'm going to lean, obviously, Ennis here. I just don't know how it's going to go because Lima hasn't fought a guy with this much firepower, to be frank. He's fought a guy like Ennis, who he lost to with similar dimensions, tall, lanky, knows how to work behind the jab. Ennis has legit power, and Ennis is not afraid to give one, to take one, to give two. So I'm going to say Ennis. I'm going to say by decision here, just because I think Lima is a little more durable than people are giving him credit for. I also think at value, I think this is a fight that you should look into Lima knockdown props because Ennis does have the tendency to get hit in a lot of his fights. And Lima can crack. This is definitely the biggest fight of his career. So I expect him to come very prepared. And you know what? With that said, considering he's probably going to walk forward, I'm going to flip that. I think Ennis is going to knock him out at some point during the fight just because of the firepower. But once again, just like I did there, don't be surprised if I switch this close to the fight time. I think this is just a purely value play fight. So if Ennis' knockout is plus 300, you play it. If his decision is plus 300, you play it. I expect the knockdown from Lima to be a very big number because Ennis has a good chin. Ennis also gets hit and this guy can punch. So that's something I'm going to be looking at. But from an overall standpoint, I advise everyone to stay off this fight. It's just unbettable. There's no value. There's not going to be value come fight time, in my opinion. You play value or you leave it alone. Ennis should get this done via knockout. But if it goes to decision, I'm not going to be surprised. Once again, high variance, high variable fight. Probably should stay off of it. Watch me find a way to play it. But I will be looking closely at the Lima knockdown props here, if there's any value there, and just sprinkling on it. Just because Ennis gets hit so much. But Ennis should get this done. He probably will get dropped, won't get finished. I expect him to get back up and finish or win this fight via decision because he's the more technical boxer and the bigger guy, puncher. So, bigger guy and puncher. Give me Jaron Ennis here for the lean. That's where I'm at with this fight. And that's all.
And that does it for this episode 117 in the books. My brother, without further ado, take us home.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. That's a wrap for this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in for episode 118 next week. Keep the love coming. Keep the subs coming. We see it. We love it. Engages with fights that we didn't talk about in this podcast. There's a few going on, not as big as the ones we spoke on, but love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you next week. Take it easy. Enjoy the fights. Later.